Have you ever completely blanked out when talking to someone new? That awkward feeling when every second of silence feels like an eternity, and the only thing running through your mind is, what do I say now? Don't worry, you're not alone. It's happened to all of us. But here's the part no one talks about. It's not about what you say, it's about how you make the other person feel. Picture this. You walk into a room, a party, a meeting, maybe even a date, and within 5 minutes, all eyes are on you. Every word you say seems to land perfectly, and people are drawn to your presence, like you've got this invisible power to connect. Sounds like something only extroverts are born with? Neil Strauss, author of The Game, would strongly disagree. He believes anyone can learn to master the art of irresistible conversations. And the best part? You don't need to change who you are. You just need to unlock the best parts of yourself. Strauss, known for his deep dive into social dynamics and human connection, shows us that it doesn't matter if you're shy, introverted, or someone who thinks they have nothing interesting to say. What matters is learning the right tools, practical tools that build confidence, create interest, and most importantly, spark real connection. Today, we're going to break down some of those tools so that from this moment on, you can start transforming the way you interact with people. Forget awkward silences, forced phrases, or empty small talk. In this video, you'll discover real strategies, proven by experts, that will make every conversation memorable. Are you ready to become the kind of man who lights up a room when he speaks? It doesn't matter if it's a stranger, a co-worker, or someone who completely intimidates you. You'll learn how to break the ice, keep the connection flowing, and most of all, enjoy the process. Get ready, because what's coming next isn't theory, it's transformation, and it's something you can apply immediately. Conversations are at the heart of everything we do socially. Think about it. Every relationship you've ever had, friends, love, business, it all started with one simple conversation. Our words have the power to open doors, or shut them. But most of us don't realize just how much that first impression can shape what comes next. Imagine this. You're at a party. The room's full of people laughing, talking, making connections. You spot someone you'd like to talk to, but something holds you back. What if I say something stupid? What if they're not interested? You wait, looking for the perfect moment to approach, but that moment never comes. You end up going home, wondering what could have happened if you just said something. Or maybe it's a job interview. You know you've got the skills, but when it's time to break the ice, your nerves take over. You sound stiff, rehearsed, and the natural connection you hoped for? It never happens. Sound familiar? These situations are more common than you think. Most people have no idea how to break the ice without sounding awkward or forced. In fact, one of the most common mistakes is focusing way too much on what to say and forgetting the one thing that really matters, how you make the other person feel. And that's where the concept of irresistible social skills comes in. According to Neil Strauss, the key to mastering social interactions isn't about being the smoothest talker or having the perfect line. It's about creating an emotional comfort zone, a space where the other person feels relaxed, heard, and valued from the very first word. The problem is, most of us were taught that to be interesting, we have to impress. We get stuck trying to say something clever or look perfect when all we really need to do is show genuine interest and project real confidence. So how do you do that without sounding fake or scripted? That's where the real power of Strauss's techniques comes in. Instead of memorizing one-liners or generic advice, he teaches you how to identify and amplify your natural strengths and turn every conversation into a chance for real connection. And the best part? These skills aren't reserved for one type of personality. Whether you're loud or quiet, confident or shy, you can learn how to master the art of irresistible conversations. And in the next sections, we're going to break down exactly how to do it. If words are the bridge between two people, then body language is the foundation that holds that bridge up. According to Neil Strauss, the impact of a conversation doesn't start with what you say. It starts the moment you walk into a room. Before a single word leaves your mouth, your posture, your gestures, and your facial expression are already speaking for you. So let's talk about the first thing people notice, your body language. Think about how you perceive someone who's slouched over, arms crossed, eyes fixed on the ground. Do they seem open? Inviting? Probably not. Now picture someone standing with relaxed shoulders, an open stance, and a subtle smile. That single difference completely shifts the way we perceive confidence and approachability. Strauss emphasizes that open body language is your first invitation to a conversation. A practical example: next time you're in a social setting, instead of folding your arms or using your phone as a shield, keep your hands relaxed and your posture natural. Make eye contact, brief but steady. You're not trying to stare someone down. You're showing them you're present, aware, and open. Once you've projected openness, the next step is breaking the ice. And this is where most guys overcomplicate things. They search for the perfect line, the flawless opener, the clever technique that guarantees success. But Strauss reminds us of something crucial. You don't need magic words. All you need is the ability to observe what's right in front of you and comment on it with authenticity. Let's say you're in a cafe and someone's holding a book you recognize. Instead of overthinking it, just say, "I've heard a lot about that one. What do you think so far?" Or maybe you're at a party and notice something unusual about the setup. This place has a wild vibe, don't you think? Simple, real observations work far better than trying to impress with something flashy. But here's what you also need to avoid: a few common mistakes that kill conversations quickly. One of them is talking too much about yourself. Sure, sharing is part of connecting, but a great conversation is a back and forth, not a monologue. Another mistake is asking generic questions like, "So, what do you do?" without going deeper. If you do ask that, follow up with something that invites a richer answer, like, "What do you enjoy most about your job?" That shift alone can turn a dead-end question into a real connection. Applying these fundamentals builds the foundation for every interaction. And the best part? You don't have to be someone you're not. You just need to be present, real, and project confidence through your words and presence. Now that you've got the basics, it's time to move from theory to action. Neil Strauss makes one thing very clear: irresistible conversations aren't about talking more, they're about listening better. And this is where practical techniques really shine. First, active listening, the core of any real connection. Most people listen just to reply, not to understand. But if you want someone to truly enjoy talking to you, you've got to listen beyond the words. That means paying attention to their tone, their emotions, their body language. Strauss offers a simple but powerful technique. Paraphrase what the other person just said to show genuine interest. If someone tells you, "I've been buried in a big work project lately," don't just nod. Say something like, "Sounds like it's been keeping you completely locked in. What's the project about?" This kind of response doesn't just show you're listening, it pulls them in deeper. Second, tell short but powerful stories. Stories captivate. Strauss points out that well-placed stories or small personal anecdotes can instantly turn a bland conversation into something memorable. You don't have to be a master storyteller, just be real and relevant. Let's say someone mentions they love to travel. You might say, "That reminds me of the time I got lost in a city I'd never been to and ended up stumbling into a local festival. It turned out to be one of the best nights of my life." That kind of story not only entertains, it invites the other person to share their own, creating a dynamic and enjoyable back and forth. Third, spark curiosity, the key to keeping the other person engaged. One of Strauss's favorite techniques is to leave just enough unsaid to make the other person want more. Instead of giving full, complete answers, leave a little mystery. Say something that opens a door. For example, instead of saying, "I always start my mornings with a workout," try something like, "There's one small change I made in my morning routine that completely shifted my energy." That's the kind of line that invites a follow-up, creates intrigue, and keeps the conversation alive. Fourth, avoid closed responses. If you want to keep the energy alive in any conversation, you've got to stop giving answers that shut things down. Be a catalyst, not a dead end. Let's say someone asks you, "What do you like to do in your free time?" Don't just say, "I like to read." That's flat. That's forgettable. Instead, say something like, "I like reading about psychology and personal development. I'm always curious about how people think and what drives them." That answer does two powerful things. It reveals something real about who you are, and it opens the door for more questions, more connection. When you apply this mindset, you're not just improving your conversation skills. You're creating memorable, meaningful experiences that people will actually remember. And here's the real key. It's not about impressing others. It's about connecting with them in a way that feels genuine. The biggest enemy of good conversation isn't lack of words or even running out of topics. It's the fear of rejection. That voice in your head that says, "What if they don't like what I say?" Or, "What if they ignore me or laugh at me?" That fear can be paralyzing. It can make you hold back, stay silent, and miss out on moments that could have changed everything. But here's what Neil Strauss wants you to understand. Rejection is just a trick your mind plays on you. Most of the time, people aren't judging you. They're too busy dealing with their own insecurities. Still, even knowing that doesn't always make it easier. So, how do you actually overcome it? Here are a few practical tools. First, calm your nerves with breathing techniques. That anxious feeling before you approach someone? Totally normal, but it's manageable. One of the most effective ways to ground yourself is through conscious breathing. Before you walk up to someone, try this. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold it for another 4. Then exhale gently through your mouth for 6 seconds. Do this 3 times. This simple rhythm helps regulate your nervous system and brings your focus to the present moment. Showing up calm and centered can drastically change how others perceive you and how you carry yourself. Second, reframe rejection as feedback, not failure. Strauss is clear about this. Rejection doesn't reflect your worth. It's just part of the process. Every bad conversation teaches you something. If you try to break the ice with someone and they don't respond well, that doesn't mean you're bad at this. It might just mean they're not in the right headspace, or the timing was off. So instead of thinking, "I'm terrible at this," try, "Maybe they had a bad day. That's not on me." This shift in mindset frees you from the emotional weight of rejection. It lets you keep going, adjusting, learning, without fear. Remember, not every conversation will go perfectly, and that's okay. Even the best communicators have faced awkward silences and cold responses. What separates them is their ability to keep showing up and learning from every interaction. Third, shift your focus away from yourself and toward the other person. One major reason rejection feels so intense is because we're stuck thinking, "How are they seeing me?" But the moment you switch your attention to them, what they're saying, what they're feeling, your anxiety drops. You stop performing. You start connecting. And suddenly, the fear fades, replaced by something more powerful: presence. Ask yourself this: what can I learn from this person? How can I make them feel at ease during this conversation? That simple mindset shift doesn't just calm your nerves, it also makes your interactions richer and more authentic. The fear of rejection is a natural obstacle, but it's not unbeatable. With practice, techniques like conscious breathing and shifting your perspective, you can step out of your comfort zone. And here's the truth: the more you try, the more you'll realize that most people are far more open to connecting than you imagined. Every small step you take to face your fears brings you closer to mastering the art of irresistible conversation. Sometimes the best way to understand how these strategies work is through real-life examples. So let's look at 2 scenarios, one where someone applies the techniques we've discussed, and another where common mistakes are made. Comparing both will show you how the smallest actions can lead to completely different outcomes. Scenario 1. A casual encounter turns into a meaningful connection. Let's take Anna, a young woman attending a professional conference. Normally, she feels nervous around strangers, but today she decides to apply some of Neil Strauss's strategies. First step, open body language. Instead of hiding in a corner scrolling through her phone, Anna positions herself near the coffee station, arms relaxed, slight smile on her face. Instantly, she appears approachable. Second step, break the ice authentically. She notices a guy nearby holding a notebook with a striking cover. Instead of overthinking, she simply says, "That notebook has a great design. Where did you get it?" Third step, active listening. He replies that it was a gift from his partner and shares a short story. Anna listens attentively and replies, "That's such a thoughtful gift. Seems like they really know you, custom design and all." Fourth step, a short personal story. As the conversation flows, Anna shares her own anecdote about a meaningful gift she once received. That small exchange turns a random interaction into a powerful moment. The man, who turns out to be a potential client, is impressed by Anna's warmth and authenticity. They exchange contact info and talk about future projects. Scenario 2. What not to do and how to fix it. Now imagine Carlos in a similar setting, a party. He sees someone interesting and decides to approach but makes a few common mistakes. Mistake 1. Closed body language. He approaches with crossed arms and avoids eye contact. he immediately comes off as distant and unapproachable. Mistake 2, generic icebreaker. He says, "What do you do?" A question that shows no genuine interest. The other person replies with a one-word answer, and the conversation dies instantly. Mistake 3, talking too much about himself. Carlos tries to recover by sharing every detail about his job, without giving the other person any space to engage. So how could Carlos fix this? First, he could open up his posture and smile. It would instantly project more confidence. Instead of the generic question, he could have observed something about the environment and said, "Hey, the music here is actually pretty good. Reminds me of a concert I went to last year." That alone would have opened the door to a more natural back and forth. And instead of dominating the conversation, he could have asked open-ended questions like, "What do you love most about your work?" Or "What brought you to this event?" If Carlos had made these small changes, he would have had a much better chance at building a real connection instead of leaving a forgettable impression. These practical cases prove something important. Success in conversation doesn't come from having a perfect script. It comes from being present, listening, and connecting from a genuine place. With these techniques and a bit of practice, even casual interactions can turn into powerful connections. Now that we've walked this path together, let's recap. You've learned that you don't need to be the most outgoing or charismatic person in the room to connect. All you need is to apply a few powerful principles. First, open body language and a smile are your best invitation. Second, breaking the ice doesn't require magic words, just observation and honest commentary. Third, active listening turns any exchange into something meaningful. Paraphrasing and showing genuine interest are your best tools. Fourth, rejection isn't an obstacle, it's an opportunity. With breathing and a mindset shift, you can move past it. Fifth, mini stories, open-ended questions, and curiosity can turn an ordinary chat into something unforgettable. But now comes the part that really matters, putting it into action. Today, I challenge you, use just one of these techniques. Whether you're at work, at a cafe, at a party, or even waiting for a ride, look around and say something simple to someone you don't know. It could be as basic as, "This place has such a cool vibe, don't you think?" Or, "Crazy weather today. I thought it was going to rain and then boom, sun." You'll be amazed how one small step can open the door to an unexpected conversation. Remember, it's not about impressing, it's about connecting. And every attempt, whether it works or not, gets you one step closer to mastering this craft. So, let me ask you, are you ready to step out of your comfort zone and experience the power of irresistible conversation? The best connections don't happen by accident. They happen when you choose to show up and open yourself to the moment. So, are you in? If this video helped or inspired you, don't forget to subscribe, share it, and drop a comment telling me how it went when you tried one of these techniques. I'm looking forward to hearing your stories. Until next time, and remember, every conversation is an opportunity to discover something new.